Today, I want to talk to you about talking therapy and why I think it's not always the answer to creating good mental health. I have had over 12, 13 years of therapy, all in all, maybe more, I can't remember. And I've had various different approaches. And the only one that sort of got me off my backside was CBT, but it was intense one-to-one CBT. And it was with a lot of homework, and it was about actually doing something for myself rather than just sitting going, do you know what, this is how I'm feeling, this is that. And I believe that talking therapy has its place for specific issues. So if you're facing bereavement, you're living with grief, in some specific issues, when we know what the trauma is, perhaps, I think then maybe it's all good. And, it does work, it helps. For me, I think it got me to a place of just surviving. I don't think, I had intellectually been able to work, I had been able to work things out. I could rationalise them, but there was something still missing. I definitely wanted a proactive approach, so I changed to, I changed to just seeing this one-to-one therapist with CBT, and we did a lot of intense work, and he challenged me, and it was great because it challenged a lot of my coping mechanisms which weren't serving me, and it taught me some ones which did, but it didn't, it was like a weed killer that just got rid of the plant above ground. It didn't go into the roots of what was going on. And the interesting thing is, whenever I mentioned that I was adopted, it was barely spoken about. And also, I would rationalise it. I'd go, well, actually, I know that I wasn't given away through spite. I hadn't done anything wrong. As an adult, I understand the situation. It was all done with love. But you can't tell a week-old baby that. It's not able to understand. All it knows is that all of a sudden, my safe place, my familiar place, my mum has gone. My mum has gone. And yes, there are other people looking for me, but I'm now living on a higher state of alert because whomever's looking after me might go away. Now, obviously, as a baby, I'm not rationally thinking that. I think it is much more of a physical response. And that is what I wanted to really talk about today. And that is that so often we're treated as separate parts. So what's in your head, your psychology, your psychiatry, and your mental health, and your physical health. And I think that it's wrong because we are all, everything that is us is held within this one skin. We're not separate parts that can be separated from others, taken away, removed, and then put back again. And so I think what I really want to say about talking therapy today is that if you're not getting anywhere, if you're feeling like it's not working and all it's doing is keeping you going, if you're happy to just stay at keeping going for now, I was there for many, many years. I'm not going to criticise anybody that is out there trying to get help for themselves. But if you're feeling stuck, it could be that what is needed is to look at how to look for the roots of what it is, but to look at it within you as a whole person. So, for example, since I have been able to acknowledge that the adoption has been traumatic, as in I have lived with grief, I've not been able to express, I have lived with fear where I haven't known where it has come from. But being able to acknowledge that is the first step. And then the next thing is about physically releasing. And I'm not talking about necessarily sitting amongst your crystals on a full moon or anything like that. And there's no harm in that. Trust me, I've got crystals. So yeah, occasionally I go there. And I do believe to a point that they have a way of helping us. What I'm talking about is finding that way, that expression that you have suppressed. So I don't mean go up to the person who has hurt you and call them every swear word under the sun and punch them in the face. Not talking about that. You might be visualising that in your head, but don't do that. What I'm talking about is finding a space where you can actually honestly say those things you want to say. So it could be, I'm very lucky. I live in a very remote place. I can go into any room in the house when my other half's not here, and I can shout and I can scream and I can jump up and down and I can basically look like a complete lunatic, and that often ends with me laughing. But I can with all the intensity that I want, I can shout, fuck off. I can scream, I hate you. I can really, really sort of fully experience that feeling. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm actually going to physically feel it. And what I have found since I've done that, and I've given myself the recognition, then the permission to both feel and express, I have found that I have lost a certain amount of physical triggering. So I still get triggered, and I still get triggered physically before I consciously have a chance to understand what's going on. And all of a sudden I'll think, holy crap, sorry, pardon language. I'm shaking. I want to run. I want to freeze. I want to go and tell everybody that I'll do better, and all these things. And then I sort of go, well, I can't be like that. I've got to suppress it. Whereas now I'm like, okay, I see you, and I'm definitely feeling you. And when I have the chance, I will express you. I will go into a room or go and sit in my car and scream. And it's not, very rarely for me is it a high-pitched scream. It's a real throaty sort of roar, and the release is unbelievable. I've not yet cried when I've done it, and I know some people when they release will cry. What I have experienced afterwards is that the physical sensations of tension and fear and anger decrease hugely. And I will probably then start yawning, and I know that is a sign. Once you start yawning, that you have you are releasing it from a very deep level. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, is that talking therapy has its place, but I think where a lot of the treatment is failing us is that it's not treating us as a whole person. And recognizing that the body stores trauma, it stores emotions, it stores the things that we're suppressing, and we need to find a healthy, safe way to recognize, respect and honor and express those feelings. And if you've stayed for the full 8 minutes, I'm surprised, but thank you very much, and take care of yourself.